here to stand up for wrestling. I am here to give the fans a voice.
If you're not watching the promotion right now, you're missing out on something I think that could possibly shape the future of wrestling, and I mean this wholeheartedly, for the next 5 to 10 years.
Nobody can touch me. Nobody is better than Adam Cole.
This company is still existing, yet they have to do this at the 11th hour to make sure that they run these tapings. I thought TNA was going to be different, and I guess not.
This is truly the Kevin Owens Show.
Pentagon Jr. is the wind beneath my wings. The only thing that we get at 10 for sure, maybe at 11, is Ken Shamrock showing up.
There's no gentle way to say it. To me, you wrestle like a coward. You wrestle like somebody who's afraid to get hit. Like,
I wrestle like a coward.
You wrestle like a coward.
I'm the one?
If I were to create a wrestler who, to me, like embodies, like when I was an independent guy and I was thinking like, oh, okay, what's the soft WWE style? It would be that. WWE is transformed in the last.
Hold on. You had your chance to talk. You're the one that called me a coward in the wrestling ring. I'm the coward in the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
But let's talk about cowards for 1 second. Okay. The reason I wrestle the way I wrestle is because I can do it day in and day out all the time for 10 plus years. I have never in my career ever have been injured. I don't get injured for 6 months to a year. I am here each and every week. But you sit there and call me a coward? Yeah. I'm the coward. Wait, let me tell you about a coward. Let me tell you about a guy who tells his WWE fans, the people that he loves, that he will be back. He promises them. I promise you, I will be back in 1 year's time to claim this title. But you didn't, Daniel, did you? But I'm the coward. Okay, I'm the one that doesn't love the fans.
If they would let me come back, I would come back.
Oh, if you would? Yeah. You would. You love that WWE ring. You love being wrestling. You love being right in that wrestling ring, and you love wrestling, right? Well, why don't you quit? Why don't you quit and go to the bingo halls with your indie friends?
Okay, I think you need to calm. That's not what this show's about.
The GM have this. Thank you very much, Renee. This is a great show, but we're talking here. I need to talk to you real quick because the fact is, you're the one that calls me the coward, but you're the one that doesn't get in the WWE ring again. No, don't you walk away from me, Daniel. Don't you walk away. I'm the one that loves the fans. I'm the one that loves everyone and everything. You're the one that gets up and walks away every single time. You're the coward. I am not a coward. I am your Intercontinental Champion, and there's a reason I am the title. Reason making this the most relevant, prestigious title that WWE has, and I deserve the respect on SmackDown Live. Get that camera right here. Get that camera right here. Understand that this is day 141 of the never-ending Intercontinental Championship World Tour, and I swear to you, I promise you, it will be the most relevant title on SmackDown Live. I could care less about those little kids on for the tag team titles and the Women's Championship and the WWE Championship. This is my show. My show. And I'm sick of all of you, my GM, sitting there criticizing me, calling me the coward. You're the cowards. I'm the one here day in and day out in that wrestling ring, beating people up. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the mat.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Deezer.
Welcome, everybody, to Wrestling to the Max, episode 209, part 2. And we are ready to talk about some great things in the world of wrestling. We are talking NXT. We're getting into the Cruiserweight Classic tonight. And we're also talking TNA Impact Wrestling. And, of course, we always have to do some other things like talk some news. We got some interesting news when it comes to the world of WWE. Apparently, they're blurring the lines, guys. They got some things going on in that part of their realm that they're trying to work in, and we've seen a lot of that on WB TV, and including what you just heard in the intro. That was a big part of it. We're going to get into not only the Miz promo that he cut on Talking Smack, We're also going to be jumping in some Brock Lesnar talk, a few other things that they're kind of blurring the lines, a little bit of controversy. Plus, we'll get into some other news, kind of like a former diva who has skin cancer, apparently. So some kind of interesting news to get into today. Plus, we're going to crown a Superstar of the Week, which I can't wait to do because we just got off a big week of wrestling champions, if you want to say it that way. Lots of different promotions had championship changes and had some interesting things go on. So we are going to have a very interesting list for you guys at the end of the show. Plus, we're also going to really quickly break down Triplemania. We're going to give you a preview of that show, kind of give you our ideas from predictions for it. So a full one, guys. I mean, a full show for us. I'm your host, Gary Vaughn. Of course, I'm with my other great co-host, Mr. Paul Leeser.
Yo.
And, of course, the producer and, of course, co-host, Sean Garmer.
What's going on, everybody?
And today, I mean, we've got lots of wrestling stuff, guys, but, I mean, I want to jump into one thing really quickly. And, Sean, this is going to make you kind of sad, I think, maybe, and then again, kind of really interested. You know, we do a lot of things during the week. You know, we do a lot of watching wrestling and a lot of different things. But, you know, this week I had a personal project, and I work with a college and career group. And so I actually went to the University of North Texas, which I know Paul's very familiar with. And, of course, Sean, you actually, you know, spent several years there, a few actually. And so me and you know the university's union. Do you remember the union pretty well?
Yeah, I know the union. Yeah.
They destroyed it, brought it back up, made it brand new. What you remember is nothing like it was. It is now a mall.
Wow.
No doubt. I walked in there today, and it is a complete mall. I mean, I swear I walked by this big UNT banner, and it looked like I was walking past Banana Republic. So it is amazing the way things change over time. And now I feel extremely old just because this is taking place. I'm in this group of young people, and I just feel anxious. So if you hear me kind of depressed a little bit tonight, you know that I'm just realizing I'm not young as I once was, and feeling bad about it, Paul.
I went to University of Texas at Dallas, and since I've graduated, they keep adding onto that campus, and it's ridiculous how much this used to be field. It's not that anymore.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. And what I loved about Denton, which the University of North Texas is in Denton, it's a nice little town. It's a place that is not really updated. That's what's kind of cool about Denton. It's kind of vintagey. You go in there and it's like you walked into the '80s, and now they're kind of transforming it, and it kind of loses a little bit of its character, but I'm excited for those students. I mean, it's great. It's really good for University of North Texas. In fact, they've made a deal with the Dallas Cowboys, so they're going to get more money. So it's very, very cool to see change, but then again, very, very sad. So, Sean, next time you're in town, we'll stop by the University of North Texas. I'll show you this freaking mall that they built, which is actually not a mall. It's a University Union. It just looks like a freaking mall. So, anyway. Well, guys, I mean, do you guys have anything that's been going on in your worlds? Anything, Paul? Work? Just that's about it?
Work and more work. Not only actual job, but everything else we got going on. So. Oh,
yes. We are currently working on a website. And I know people, if you heard Monday show, you heard a lot about that. We're not going to jump into it a whole lot, but I mean, Sean, this is a new venture. It's keeping us pretty busy. We're not giving the name out anything yet until we launch it, but we do have a launch date, right?
Yeah, September 5th is the launch date. Hopefully people will see it and understand that it is a work in progress. Understand that it's also a venture between about 6 or 7 people and a website designer. So, yes, we do have people that are going to be writing that are not part of the investor group that includes us. But they're going to come on very slowly, so a lot of the work is going to be done by the 7 people that are starting it. And so, there may not be a lot of stuff on it at first, especially in certain zones, but, the more we get to go out there and recruit people and everything else with the power of social media and just, you guys using your word of mouth or whatever, it's hopefully we'll get more people as time goes on.
Definitely, and I'm looking forward to it. We're going to reveal the name later. Let's make you wait a little bit longer. But what I love about this is going to give us an opportunity to meet a lot of new people, and for other people to get a chance to get the word out about how they feel about things. And if you currently love watching wrestling, or you love video games, maybe you love entertainment, maybe you love TV or movies, and you just say, man, I wish I had a place where I could review because I have a lot to say, you need to hit us up. You can find Sean Garmer, find him on s.garmer, at gmail.com. Message him, send him a message and say, hey, man, I'm interested. I'd love to ride for you guys. On the website, we're actually going to have a formal little application for everybody to fill out. But if you're listening to this and you're like, dude, I would love to be a part of this thing, send Sean an email and just let him know. It's s.garmer, Garmer, at gmail.com, and he will get you hooked up and we'll get more information to you. So just want to throw that out there. We're not only doing, wrestling, we're doing football, we're doing entertainment, and of course video games. Those are our big things we're going to be doing on this site. So enough of that until we reveal more. Let's get into the news, guys. We got a lot of news to talk about, so we will be right back with some quick hits.
Hold on.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
All right, guys. And, we loved that promo that Miz cut. I mean, it was something special. I mean, Sean, I heard you talking about it on our SmackDown review this week, and you were giving lots of details about it and really just kind of excited about it. And I know Chris Limsky called in and kind of talked about it himself. And this was something that I kind of really loved, and it's a reason to watch Talking Smack. There's a few things I don't like about it because I really thought it was kind of pointless for them to have Carmella beat up Nikki Bella. Whatever, that worked out the way it did. And I also hated the fact that on Talking Smack they had Nikki Bella just fine after that attack that Carmella put on her neck.
Well, that was the point, though. Like, she beat her up again, so it's like, oh, you're just going to be sitting here? Well, I'm going to beat you up again just so it gets the point.
But her neck felt a lot better. She was in great spirits. I mean, she couldn't finish the match, but now all of a sudden she's good. I don't know. I don't like that. But let's talk about what I was really trying to get into, I guess, instead of me getting on my high horse. Let's talk about this Miz promo, Paul. I mean, they, kind of did a little shooting here almost because the Miz really just kind of spouted out some things that maybe people really feel in the back and really kind of wanted to throw at Daniel Bryan. I don't know. What did you think about that promo overall?
A tremendous way to get heel heat. Everybody still loves Daniel Bryan. And, maybe Daniel Bryan, maybe he went a little too far. Maybe he didn't. Who cares? What you got was great. Absolute fire. Straight fire, as Becky Lynch would say, from The Miz. And, gosh, I really hope this turns into something. Because the Intercontinental title could really use a shot in the arm.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It really could. And I think that's why they did this. I really feel that's why they gave Miz the chance to do this. And I don't know whose idea it was, if it was Miz, and if they were doing the blur the lines thing here so much because they wanted to stir the pot, and which I think it's starting to lean that way, honestly, Sean. It seems like they're willing to say some things that are controversial to stir the pot, to get people to pay attention, because trust me, I know a lot of people who are clamoring about this, and usually who clamors about Talking Smack?
Yeah, it was the talk of everything social media when it was over. For hours afterwards, a day afterwards, they were still talking in our thread, on the Facebook group, Rest of the Max Facebook group. You can go join. Just cheap plug. But, they were talking about it on Twitter. They were talking about it everywhere. So, and then it led to that speculation of, is this a thing now? And it's obviously making a connection between 3 shows or 4 shows of saying, okay, you had Samoa Joe sell that jaw injury really well. Apparently, they made it more than it really was. It really wasn't the big jaw injury. And then you had the Brock thing with Randy Orton at SummerSlam. You had Finn having to give up his title after being injured on Raw, and then on SmackDown, you have the Talking Smack. stuff going on with The Miz, and you got Carmella turning, and I mean, so it seems like this might be a thing, and it's not bad. Finally, the reality era is actually in swing now.
The one thing I love about this is because of what you saw when you watched Stone Cold Steve Austin talk several times, not just one time, but several times on his podcast. And of course, if you do listen to the regular show, you hear him talk about it all the time. You know, you got to, as a wrestler, you've got to amp your own personality up to 10, but it's your personality. And on the other, and some of the other stuff is you've got to just be very real. You've got to make sure that you're not just a character, but you're kind of being a real person and not a cartoon. And I think that that's what they're kind of getting at here, and it makes all the sense in the world. We live in an age of media where, you know, a celebrity coughs or farts, we know about it 5 seconds later. You know, I just got a message that George Clooney just coughed. You know, that's the way it works. They want to get as much information out there about what's going on. And same with the world of wrestling. Anything happens, rumors come out because people get a little bit of information, and they're already posting it on their websites, their Twitters. And so WB, I think, is taking advantage of that a little bit. And they're saying, okay, well, people like controversy. They like all this stuff. Why not make a little bit of noise? You know, we want people to look at our product. We want people to buy the WB network. Let's make the noise happen on the network. That way people are like, crap, man, I've got to buy the network so I can see this. I don't have to wait till the next day to see it on YouTube. I mean, this is interesting, Paul. I mean, I think it's a good direction. I've always argued that I want to see more reality in my wrestling.
You know, it's always really cool whenever they acknowledge all that. It feels real, and that's what I think you're going after here if you're the WWE. But at that same time, I mean, Talking Smack, they've actually done a pretty good job, but they've only really had one, I think, out of the 4 they've done so far that didn't really feel like it added anything. But everything else, like this one especially, yeah, the Miz promo and then the Carmella attack, it makes you feel like you need to watch it. Stuff is happening still. So that's certainly something that the original Raw post show didn't really have a lot of.
Yeah, you're right. It didn't. And, you know, the Miz thing was great on there. But, you know, going back to what Sean was talking about with Brock Lesnar, that was a huge deal. And not only that, with Chris Jericho going crazy, you know, getting in his face, all that. I mean, once again, I mean, you're keeping Brock Lesnar's name out there. You're keeping even, you know, Jericho. We know the kind of trouble he's been in backstage before. You're just keeping people thinking about it. You're making it water cooler talk. And, I mean, that's very important. You never want to come away saying, well, you know, we had a big show, but no one really cares. You love that water cooler talk. And, I mean, I don't want them to be like TMZ, and every time they do a Raw or a SmackDown or even a pay-per-view, we always have controversy. But I think it's good here and there. It can get overexposed. They can overdo it. But for me personally, I think it could work out if they do it in a, you know, a sensible way.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about, exactly like you said, it's how you do it. And not overdoing it, and not also making it to where you got to make it seem real without going overboard and making it a stick. Like, oh, well, now everything we do is going to be this. Because you can't do that either. You still got to have a mixture of what you normally do, and then you got to find the right moment to put that in. You know? So, I think they kind of sort of got a handle on this. It's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward, and who it is that's going to be kind of pestering, if anybody else is going to be pestering Daniel Bryan and anything else with this. I mean, word going around now that WWE may be considering, or at least they're not opposed to the idea of Bryan wrestling again. Seems so weird.
Yeah. Very mixed feelings, because you took him out for a very obvious reason, and from everything that we ever heard, it sounded very valid, because he was losing feeling in his arm and he never quite got it all back. I don't know why you would want to risk all of that going forward.
You know, my thing about it is I get it. You know, you want to have the fans still think, oh man, there's a possibility, there's a chance, it could actually happen. Daniel Bryan could be back in the ring. But when we go back and look at just that, Paul, the medical history, the facts that came out about why doctors would not clear him, it's really based on the fact that it was so dangerous to his health for him to come back. The guy had seizures, post-seizures from his injuries. That's nothing to play with. I mean, you're talking brain damage, and that's not, good for not only him but for his family, and of course, anyone involved with that. And that's, I think a sad situation, and I don't want to take a lie to that. But on the other hand, I get it. Fans want Daniel Bryan back. I want Daniel Bryan back. I don't care if it's in a bingo hall either. I mean, come on. But I just think, you have to be smart, and that's what Daniel Bryan's doing. I think WWE is playing on it, which is fine. I mean, to me, hey, why not play on it? Because, it's a big controversial issue, like we're talking about, blurring the lines. But, I mean, in reality, do I really think Daniel Bryan is going to wrestle again? I don't. But that's just because I think the guy's smart enough to understand I can't. If he does, that's his prerogative. I just worry for him. So, I don't know. We'll have to, continue to follow this story and see, like I said, WWE is using their, judgment on how far they think they'll go. But hopefully, if he's really not in good shape, hopefully they won't be, taking that risk of putting him in danger. And I don't think that's going to take place. Lawsuits and all that stuff will happen in the future if they do. Let's talk about someone else who's in a situation that's not a lot of fun, and I really feel bad about this. This is a former diva, and she was a part of the roster for a little while, Michelle McCool. If you don't know who she is, you may have seen her on Facebook or Twitter. She's the wife of The Undertaker. So you may have seen her if you've never actually seen her in the ring. But she actually has skin cancer, and so this is a kind of sad news. It is something that's treatable, but this is always a dangerous situation. I've actually lost an aunt to skin cancer, and so, things like this are never, anything to play with. But it is kind of crazy when it comes close to home, and you guys, we think, these wrestlers, they're great health, they don't have anything to worry about. But when you hear stories like this, Paul, we kind of found out these people are mortal just like us.
Yeah, anytime anybody gets cancer, it's serious business. Cancer is just absolutely nothing to play with. It's never a good time. It's a as many times as I've heard it described to me, it's a shit show. So hopefully she can kick its ass and get back to living some life.
I agree 100%. And, Sean, it makes you wonder, there's a lot of things you have to do to take care of your skin, We all know you can't spend too much time in the sun. You've got to do all these things. You got to put on certain lotions and all that, sunscreen. And, I have no idea if any of this attributes to that. But does it make you wonder of the past that she's had where she's had to do a lot of things, of course, photo shoots, things like that, and she's had to put on different tanning stuff? And do you think that could be attributed to this? Maybe she got it faster because of those, her past?
I guess it's possible. I hate to speculate on that kind of stuff because you never know. Sometimes it doesn't have to do with any of that. It's the same thing with, the people that get lung cancer and they never smoked. Sometimes freak things happen that way, whereas there's just no explanation for it, and it is kind of what it is. I hate hearing this though, and I hate hearing this for Taker and for everybody else. Just like Paul said, cancer's nothing to mess with.
Yeah, definitely not at all. I want to talk about something else before we, get out of quick hits. This is kind of interesting news that we've gotten since Finn Balor actually was injured, and that's the fact that there was a few things that were supposed to happen. One of the things that we found out recently was that Chris Jericho was actually supposed to be having a feud with him at some point, and of course, when it's about this Universal title. But there was also a plan for Finn Balor to face Kevin Owens. For again, I think Finn Balor was going to be the champion, of course, and they were supposed to go into a feud, and Kevin Owens was actually going to challenge Finn Balor for that title. And so that is really cool information that we get a chance to hear. And then, of course, later on we were going to be possibly getting a chance to see a triple threat between Balor, Owens, and Jericho. I think this is kind of, a cool thing if, this was going to take place. I like it. I'm a big Kevin Owens guy, and Chris Jericho. Really can't go wrong with him in the ring, despite the fact that I'm not a huge fan of what he's doing a good job, I can't lie. But I'm just not a fan of this version of Chris Jericho. There's other versions of Chris Jericho I like so much more. But anyway, that's another point. What do you think about this? Would you have liked this if you would have got a chance to see this?
Sure,
What do you think? What do you think, Sean?
Well, definitely. I've been waiting for Kevin Owens to be getting that main event shot and going for the world title and everything. This would have been awesome, and I hope WWE swerves us and we still get Kevin Owens on Monday, because I really don't want to see Roman Reigns with the title again, and I don't think almost anyone does at this point. And then I guess they could go like with what I think Paul said on either the Raw review or the regular Tuesday show, of maybe they just go with the known commodity in Rollins, and you know what you're going to get there. You know you're going to get the booze, and you can just kind of go from there. But it's everybody that's in that picture except for Big Cass is sort of a heel, even though I know Roman's technically a face, but people are booing the guy. So it would be interesting to see if they might just go that way with Kevin Owens.
That would certainly be very interesting, and a well-deserved championship win too, because Owens is just a beast. But I mean, I have to think if they go with Kevin Owens, you got to go ahead and touch Sami Zayn again, right? I mean, you got to do it at that point, especially because Sami beat him clean last time they met. So if you go the other way, you go with Seth. I think that's fine too. Like you're going to go back to Roman Reigns with the feud option there too, I think. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, whatever we would have gotten out of Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, and Chris Jericho, sign me up. There is no part of that sentence I hate.
I can't disagree with it. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the thought process of that actually taking place. But sadly, I mean, Finn Balor is not a part of that, and that's what the bummer is here. But yeah, I mean, even Rollins, Owens, and Jericho, that'd be great, or just, however they want to mix this up. All I care about right now is that Kevin Owens is in the picture somewhere. And, if Rollins is the champion and even retains it or whatever against Owens, I'd be okay. But I like those guys in that picture. I really, really do. But we never know. I mean, WWE's kind of throwing some curveballs at us. I don't think we wanted Finn Balor to win, but I'm not sure we really 100% believed he was going to win the Universal title. And I think people now kind of realize that WWE will go along with the fans at times to kind of throw you a curveball. So very interesting stuff coming out of this week. Well, that pretty much wraps up Quick Hits. We didn't have a whole lot of news. I mean, this week has been so crazy with all the different stuff taking place. But, of course, we're kind of in that fallout mode from SummerSlam and, of course, NXT TakeOver. So we are, of course, going to be talking some NXT right now, guys, because NXT, of course, had their big show in Brooklyn. And now we are going to get a chance to talk about the pre-show to that Brooklyn takeover. So what we're going to get tonight is, of course, not a whole lot, but it's kind of interesting. So we'll be right back with some NXT, guys.
WWE Developmental NXT.
Yeah, NXT, like Gary said, a lot of NXT this week was sort of recapping what happened at TakeOver, or you get some interviews with a few of the guys. You did get Ty Dillinger against Wesley Blake. I mean, this was what it was. Ty was hella over. They were chanting 10 till they couldn't anymore. That's kind of what I got from this match.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, this is I'm pretty sure this is probably the first match they had on the card, go leading into Brooklyn, the Takeover special. So I think that's why the crowd was probably so hot. But Ty Dillinger's a great guy, and I think he's a great worker. So he deserves it, man. I really do. I feel like he deserves some of that praise, and I think you got what you kind of expected out of this match. Pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything special, but just the crowd interaction with Ty, and not only that, but all the 10 chants followed by Blake's a zero. They're going to get a chuckle out of me.
I love it.
Yeah, you do get a Bobby Roode promo where he talks about being glorious, and because he is, and that he's late for a dinner date with some Fortune 500 guys and everything on Madison Avenue, so he needs to leave, but he's here to continue to make NXT bigger than it is. And,
yeah, man, that's what Bobby Roode do.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, hey, it's kind of a really fun little part of the show we didn't get a chance to see, and I of course I'm loving Bobby Roode. I mean, the whole glorious thing is growing on me day by day.
Yeah, and then you get Bayley getting a little interview because it's her last NXT match, and would prove to be her last NXT match as they would show her debuting and signing with Raw. Ember Moon shows up in the interview and says that basically she's here because of Bayley and what Bayley has accomplished, and that encouraged her to want to be there. And Bayley does tease that maybe her and Ember Moon will have an NXT takeover match one day. We'll have to see if that happens, but a goodbye to Bayley.
Sort of, I think, a passing of the baton here for Ember Moon. Like, well, you're the babyface now. Here you go.
Here's a hug to leave you with.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's cool. I think it's neat because they didn't get a chance to do that in the ring. So this is a good opportunity to kind of slide that in.
Yeah, certainly. And we find out that we'll see Nakamura at some point so that he can celebrate his title win and tell us all about the victory. And, of course, what we will get from Samoa Joe, who knows. But probably the best thing here as far as the promos go is the Revival getting interviewed and talking about how, look, we'll take on anybody. Bring anybody from WWE, we'll take them on. We're the best tag team in the world, and, cling them, because they are. And I love that. I love the fact that they are not bashful about, look, we're going to hit you, we're going to win, we're scientifically proven, it's all good, They're the tough guys.
Well, heck, they should feel like that after that great match they put on at TakeOver. And once again, I love these guys. I think they've got a lot to offer, and this promo is just another proof of that. They're not just that good in the ring. I think, man, they do a pretty darn good job on the mic too.
When a tag team that you think is the greatest in the world calls themselves the best in the world, it's so nice to see that reality sort of sink in. We talked about reality era earlier. This is it on full form. They know how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go into the final match, was the Authors of Pain and TM61. TM61 came on like hot fire, but she kind of knew what was going to happen here. Authors of Pain were going to lose in this match, and they didn't. And win in about 7 minutes or so. There you go.
Yeah, nothing too special. You kind of thought that was going to happen, right? Because TM61 is a high-flying, just a really athletic team, and they were going to get theirs. But at the end of the day, the Authors of Pain are indestructible at the moment, if I could say it that way. They seem to be that way, and, of course, Paul Ellering on the outside, just directing traffic. I love this right now, and trust me, I think the world of TM61, they've impressed me from what I've seen. But, this is another realm. These two guys are, definitely bulldozers in the ring. And, right now, I don't know who can beat him. We'll have to wait and see. But, kind of told a little bit of a story here.
I kind of wish the Authors of Pain had a bit of a better finish. The lariat Russian leg sweep thing doesn't. I mean, it's impactful. It just doesn't. It feels like they should be doing something bigger. That's
Yeah,
me, personally.
maybe like pancake.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It doesn't feel like. I mean, you get their speed with that. I think that's what they're trying to push. That they're big guys that are fast. But I don't feel like you're getting the power from the Authors of Pain. Like, I'm not going to be scared of that move.
Yeah, I get you. I'm right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a team that, if we're going to take a page from Paul Ellering kind of remaking a new Legion of Doom, then let them paint their faces, because they're so baby-faced to me. They don't look scary at all.
Yeah, the problem is, though, you let them paint their faces, it's Ascension 2.
Well, you just don't have them be blatant ripoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think you could find a way possibly to paint their face to make them look a little bit more intense, and if they're fine right now, I get the babyface thing, but at the same point, I mean, they're such a big menace. Until they're facing someone who can defeat them right now, they are the bad guys,
You guys a fan of their names, Occam and Razor?
Reminds me of Ninja Turtles. So I'm okay.
Some bad video game name.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if they're trying to make the pun off of Occam's razor, but I don't know if they are the simplest explanation.
Now that you mentioned that, it could be that, honestly. Would not be surprised.
Yep.
Somebody just comes in and goes, how about Occam and Razor? Oh, Occam's Razor, what? Yeah, that sounds good. That's NXT, basically.
Yeah. And, of course, once again, I mean, it's a good follow-up show to that NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2. And those matches were all from the pre-show, so, you can't cry that you didn't get a chance to see them. You did. So let's talk about something else that happened on Wednesday night. Let's talk about the Cruiserweight Classic. And, of course, we had another round, of great matches to talk about. And, of course, this will finish out this actual round of the Cruiserweight Classic, and so we can go to the next one. So we'll be right back with that.
I do not have the music queued up for that right now, so we'll just go with no intro here. Not gonna complain though. Getting right into these matches, man, they are all very good to great to fantastic. All everything you want them to be. Rich Swann and Lince Dorado kick it off. It is the flippy Rana doing flying stuff match that you want. Just absolutely insane, some of the stuff these guys are doing. Man, these fans are freaking white hot for Rich Swann. He looks like a star every time he walks out there with the music, the fans chanting for him, singing his song. I mean, just amazing. And, Dorado's supposedly already signed, so it's going to be exciting to see him.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsay's he's a great talent. He really is. He lacks a little on the promo skills for me still, but in the ring, you can't touch him. He's an incredible worker and really come a long way since I first seen him in Chikara. Rich Swann, sort of the same. He's a guy I've seen come up through Evolve and all these other promotions too, and this is as over as I think I've ever seen it. Like the dude, the dance, the fun act, and just the incredible amount of leaping ability he has. And these guys went out there and absolutely killed it.
Yeah, and they came out 100 miles an hour, it felt like at times. And, man, I was winded watching it. I had to go get a drink of water and sit down for a break. So, I mean, just athleticism showcased here, speed, just perfect balance. I mean, wow, these guys, it's amazing the way they can flip and just land on their feet. They made it look so easy. They really did. So, I mean, I just was happy with the match completely. And, you know, like you said, Sean, this is something where, I mean, the crowd was so hot for Swan. And I think that's, you know, a great thing. I mean, he did a lot of good things here and kind of won me over a little bit, if I could be honest with you a little bit. I always liked the guy, but I just saw that next level that he can reach.
Oh, certainly. I mean, the Phoenix Splash to Dorado's face. Pretty awesome way to just end it right there.
And I want to say this. I love Rich Swann's eyes. Once he saw Dorado land on his feet with one of those flips, he just wide-eyed. Oh, man, that was picturesque. I loved it.
Yeah, so, I mean, the reactions he has are pretty awesome to that. And the commentary is able to show that really well, too. You know, this is going to be weird now. If they go with some of these guys that, you know, we're hearing Ibushi and Sabre Jr. are not going to sign, would they have, say, a Brian Kendrick beat Ibushi? Would they have, I don't know who's supposed to face Sabre Jr. next, but would they have him lose in that round, or would they have him go on? That's going to be interesting now, because it seemed like we were going to have locks of Sabre Jr. and Ibushi, and now it doesn't seem so certain with all the things going down and how well some of these other guys are performing. But let's not take away from what we get in the Zack Sabre Jr. and Drew Gulak match. Submission styles clashing and going at it, and man, this does not disappoint. Just so much happening here. You think, okay, look, they're not flying around. They're not, you know, just throwing each other everywhere and stiffing each other everywhere, but that, except for the one time they had the big old slap sequence, and that was amazingly awesome. And good God, Sabre Jr. taking that one slap. Huh. Wow. And yeah, it just shows how good these two guys can be when you have styles that match up like that.
I have a feeling that last slap that that Zach sold was in no way an act at all. Yeah, these guys they put on a clinic, an absolute clinic. They show pretty much every different painful way you can stretch a human being in about 10 minutes. It's really fast paced. If you're not into technical wrestling, this is technical wrestling on steroids, really, because it's so fast and smooth, and it really keeps you entertained the entire time, because you're already wondering, once a guy gets slapped in a hold, how he's going to get out of it, until finally Drew Gulak doesn't get out of it.
Once again, they make that look so easy. I mean, they're so smooth, like you said, and I couldn't even start to tell you how to do all that. But man, I mean, I did enjoy it for that reason. They made it look so great, and wow, I was hurting watching some of this. I forget what the hold's called, but where, you know, Sabre had his arms pulled all the way down behind his back.
Special. Oh, yes. That was nasty.
That just
like
made
his shoulders were about to pop right out.
Oh. Yeah, I know.
Oh man, so yeah, I mean, it got pretty gross at times, but at the same time, it was very fun to watch, and you know, I think it's kind of interesting that Sabre did win, especially like you said, Sean, about, you know, if the possibility of him not signing, you know, how far are these guys going to go?
Yeah, I think they're just waiting. I mean, like, you know, I don't know what Gulak's status is with WWE or whatever, but he's obviously a, you know, big time involved guy, so he's not going anywhere anyway. But you know, with Sabre, he said he's got things to do. Same thing with Ibushi. I'm sure they're just waiting for further in the tournament so that it means more that they lost or whatnot. I mean, Kendrick beating Ibushi, I don't think is a total. I don't think I did think it was a total, like, oh, that's not happening. Now, as he's progressed through this tournament and the way that they've booked him and his story and everything, I don't think it's a total long shot that happens.
I won't call it a long shot. I do think that doing right by these guys, even though they're not going to sign with you right now, is still a smart way to go about doing business. Even if they make it to the semifinals or the finals is actually Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. for whatever reason, you know, it's still, if they're planning on doing this yearly, you can have their losses carry over to the next year if you bring them back. there's a lot of different ways to go without them actually signing. But I still think letting them get to the semifinals or something like that, or get criminally close, like one of them makes it to the finals and loses to somebody else, like a Rich Swann or a TJP. I still think you're doing right by them, letting them go this far. You don't want to burn that bridge.
No, definitely. You don't want to burn that at all. And you also want to have a way to encourage other indie wrestlers that you have an eye on to come do this as well. And so, I mean, it's, they probably have a formula going here that they're going to go by. And, it's going to be something that, we may or may not understand. But I think in the end, it should be good.
Yeah, and speaking of good, virtually great, you get TJP and Johnny Gargano. I loved Gargano's promo there with Ciampa next to him before the match, and then you get this match, which was all kinds of tremendous. You get a lot of mix of styles here, and TJP wins. I really think they might, now that they've announced TJP, I think we talked about this on one of the times we talked about that, but TJP might be the front runner right now.
Definitely think TJP is probably your front runner. He's got, with this win, he's got Rich Swann in the next bracket, which is going to make for a really tough call on who goes over there. I think what you get here is just, you get the total package. Both of these guys, I think, are the total package. And just run around circles around that entire ring. It's awesome. The thing that I really like most about this, though, was that this was taped weeks before we got to TakeOver, and they already have Gargano selling the knee. And whether that was taped after NXT and put in and all this, whatever, I think it still speaks very highly to how forward they thought about not only TakeOver but to the CWC and how it's going to affect guys like Gargano, because he's selling the knee the entire time too.
Yeah, you're correct about that, and that is something that is special. And I appreciate that. I like the continuity. But, I think a lot of TJP. He's a great guy. I always enjoyed him, before he was even, just got to be himself when he was manic or suicide, whatever you want to call him. I always enjoyed him as, in that role. And it's just nice to see him do well here. I really appreciate that. And, both guys did a great job, but, at the end of the day, TJ Perkins gets to walk away.
Oh, I forgot to talk about this as an update for NXT. Shawn Michaels did work the NXT tapings that happened this week. So, first NXT tapings as a coach.
Still weirds me out. It still weirds me out that he's want to do that. I think it's very cool. I love it, but I just thought, man, the guy's so happy at his little farm, little ranch. But, maybe he's enjoying it
now, so he's got to figure out something else.
I guess he's going to go hunting later and somewhere else. Huh? That's cool, though. Very cool. Yeah. So.
I hear you can go hunt in the swamps there in Florida.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he's bored of hunting in Texas.
Just be careful with the crocodiles and everything.
Ooh, yeah, the gators. Nothing to play with there. All right, guys. Well, that is the Cruiserweight Classic. Of course, we're going to have some big matches coming your way, of course, in the next round, and we're looking forward to it, and I know all of you are, too.
Yeah, next round actually tapes today, 26th.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's awesome. See, I didn't realize that. That's great.
Yeah, so we'll know who... I mean, if you watch the spoiler, which I've actually kept myself spoiler-free, you'll know who's in the final on that September 14th show. So,
semifinals.
Oh, well, no.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the final.
In the finals in that special.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Wow. So, hey, if you're a spoiler fan, you'll be able to find him. If you're not, trust me, we're not going to spoil it for you on the show.
Nah.
All right, guys. Well, let's move on. We've got some TNA Impact Wrestling to talk about. And just to let everybody know, just in case you forgot, we were also talking Triplemania. We're going to give you a preview of that show. So don't worry, we're still going to do that. But right now, it's time to go and talk about Impact Wrestling.
Hold on one sec. Oh, before we get into Impact, well, I guess let me play the music and we can talk about this.
TNA Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, sorry, I'm also editing something while we're doing this, so it's sometimes I'm having to be a little bit distracted. But Billy Corgan says he has complete creative control in TNA. How do you guys feel about that? I know that good thing we don't have Patrick on the show because he would be going nuts right now at hearing that. But
I think it was certainly on display on this show.
I mean, I did not get to watch this show, so once again, I will just have to sort of walk the people through it, and you guys discuss this. It seems like the wrestling wasn't all that great, but EC3 and Galloway meet each other, and then Lashley wants to come out to do commentary for the number one contenders Battle Royal. Well, it's a Battle Royal, guys. I mean, can't imagine. It's just awesomeness. But Mike Bennett wins. What'd you guys think?
The Battle Royal is Battle Royal, with them playing up Mike Bennett and Moose and all that fun stuff. The Billy Corgan thing in this show that just really, like, EC3 and Galloway, they meet randomly at this, like, rooftop pool. They spot a bottle of whiskey, and they just drink and sort of, like, share their feelings with each other. It's very weird.
You're right. It's very odd because, we
Aren't
go
these
from...
guys building, like, some big showdown or whatever, and you're having them...
They were main eventing the show against each other.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Like, these guys had gone from being, like, respecting each other to all of a sudden just hating each other, and now they're sharing drinks. Very interesting. That's a turnaround. And maybe Billy Corgan having full control. He's thinking to himself now, hey, since I have the book, I can basically say, I would rather these guys sit back and have a cocktail and enjoy themselves and just relax and be smooth. Maybe that's a very rock star thing to do. I don't know. But, at the end of the day, it was very weird. Very interesting that they would do something like that. But at the end of the day, it didn't bother me too much, to be honest with you, because I think this whole feud is kind of weird. Because I guess we'll get into it later. But I think at the point we were at during this point of the show, I nearly thought Drew Galloway is a heel, and EC3, he's been a great heel, but right now he's a face. So they're in that gray area. Both of them are. So it's been kind of hard for me because I don't know who to root for. So anyway, but I mean, I do want to talk about this Battle Royal because it was not anything special. I wish I could say it was. It's not at all. I do like we get further material on, Moose being pissed off at Bennett because Bennett, he eliminates him. So there you go. I mean, now, Moose is stepping up to him, yelling at him, and they're yelling back and forth, and Maria's taking the camera and pushing it down so you can't see the argument. So I like that. I like that's kind of a build to this whole, they're splitting up. They're not together forever. So.
Yeah, I mean, the really cool thing about the EC3 Galloway stuff, first, not only is it, just a different way of presenting a build-up to a main event, which I think they do nicely. It's just a very odd atmosphere to do it in. But secondly, they don't show me off camera sitting there drinking with EC3 in between takes. So,
I think it's so unfair that they don't. I know that they have to pay you when they show you.
Yeah.
But come on, guys. I mean, you got EC3's right-hand man right here. Come on, really?
Politics, man.
Politics. It's Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan is still pissed at you because you didn't buy the last album.
Well,
He's
write better music.
Fair enough, Paul. Fair enough. I don't know if we want to go ahead and say this because it doesn't really matter towards the end of the show, but we do have Bobby Lashley kind of courting Moose after this whole incident with Bennett. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting, honestly, with Moose and everything getting courted. But I think it's just a ploy for Lashley, just to mess with him. Just to mess with Mike Bennett,
Not true.
All right, so moving on from there, we go on with Matt Hardy, Broken Matt, as he, he has the number one contenders contract for him and Broken Brother Nero, and he wants to save the tag titles from Decay because I get it, Decay. So yeah, he even wants to eat Decay. Is this what I'm getting out of here? I mean,
what it boils down to is he comes out and, he's doing his little promo, about Decay and how, he is going to win the titles of the world and, the tag titles of the world, however you want to say it. And it's a situation where he basically tells Decay, like, I know one of you was trying to take Maxwell, and I had a premonition that, one of you were, and I know who it was. So whoever it was, I'm going to eat. So he's basically planning on biting whoever the person was that was going to take Maxwell. Which you get it because he's been biting everybody inside. So I don't have a problem with that. I like it. The whole promo was kind of interesting. Bringing, of course, Brother Nero shows up, and he is a little confusing to me because he's already talking about the creatures. I thought we were past the creatures. I thought he was Brother Nero, and he's having a problem. I think he's having a little identity crisis already. So they kind of showcased that, and of course Decay come out, and I'll be honest with you, Paul, I kind of thought Decay's part here was kind of weak. I was kind of bummed out about that.
I think they played well off the characters, though. Everything that the promo flows very well. I just think that Jeff Hardy's so broken that he just doesn't even know who he is anymore. That's where I'm at. Creatures of the Night, and, whatever else that he's going to spout off about. It's just like, okay, whatever you're going to do, Jeff, you do you, buddy. And I thought, the Decay was fine. I really enjoyed Rosemary's part, personally. Steve and Abyss were just sort of Steve and Abyss, but I think Rosemary's really the carrying force behind the promos for these guys.
Mm-hmm. But you're right. You're exactly right about that. And that's what took place is those guys got some equal time on the mic, and I think it hurt it for me. I didn't hate it, but it did hurt it for me. And you're right, Rosemary is the primary microphone person, and so I appreciate that she is the main talker. And I once again, I think Matt Hardy's doing his thing, and he's doing a great job of it, and I'm enjoying it. So it wasn't awful. Don't get me wrong. I just there were parts I was just kind of like, okay, shut up. I don't want to hear it. You just so.
Yeah. What about the match here between Abyss and...
what did you think about it, Paul?
See, I thought this was the bad part because they go really far into this thing. Like, you have crazy amounts of interference, and you have like a bunch of missed stuff from the Decay, and Brother Nero is apparently still fixated on trying to be Jeff Hardy and not Brother Nero, and Matt tells him off a lot during the match, and you have so much going on with a lot of time to get to Bound for Glory. I figured you would want to stretch some of this out.
Yeah, you kind of thought the same way, and it was a roundabout way to tell a few things and to continue the story, but at the same point, it was kind of like some of this is pointless. I did appreciate, the whole broken Matt Hardy thing where he's telling Brother Nero, stop being a spot monkey. Get down off the top rope. You're going to lose. I have a premonition. You're going to lose if you are a spot monkey. And, Jeff doesn't care. Brother Nero just does not care what he's going to do. He's going to jump off the top rope, and it becomes what helps him lose here. So it is what it is. I also love the fact that, Crazy Steve, gets bitten by, broken Matt Hardy, and the blood's all over his face. I love that. So at the end of the day, it gets accomplished what they need to get accomplished, but there's a lot more to tell. But in a way, they kind of took away some ability to stretch it out, like Paul's saying here. I think they could have stretched it and been okay. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, revealing Steve this early as the one in the premonition who's been trying to steal Max Soul is something I think they really should have waited on. But teach his own. Yes.
Yeah, and don't you think with all the great vignettes that they've done, and I guess that's to the beholder. Some people do not like it, but I think a lot of people do. I think they could have told that in a vignette. I think they could have had Vanguard 1 spot Crazy Steve and say, this is him, enemy number 1, trying to steal King Maxwell. Things like that, to kind of reveal to Broken Matt Hardy, not just, I had it in premonition. So you're right on that. I think they could have done a better job, made that a little bit longer story. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe they're planning on doing more with that, but it's just kind of a bummer we already know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get some more knockout stuff with Maria yelling at Allie and Sienna having a title match, but she didn't even know about it. Some great friend that Maria is.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Billy Corgan, comes in the room and tells Maria, "You're not in charge. I'll make the titles, title matches here," and he does just that. And it's interesting because we finally have a chance to see Billy Corgan step up to Maria, where Maria kind of says, "Oh no, we're equals in this," and he's like, "No, you're not. I'm the president." So. At the end of the day, I mean, that's why you get the match like it is. It's not really Maria's fault, per se.
Yeah, I mean, and the biggest problem with all of this is that everything knockouts-wise has been built on Kim and Maria, and we haven't gotten any of that yet. And suddenly you have a match between everybody else in the division, and nobody cares because there's no build on them. And, I mean, as much as I'm excited for Allie, Cherry Bomb to get the victory here in the Knockouts Championship, I mean, it's not going to be anything worth anything until it gets on to Maria or to Gail Kim. So I'm left scratching my head on why you would want to do this now, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised they were going to have a title change at all. I really was, and it is a head scratcher, and maybe they have some other stories to take place, and with Allie happening to just, by chance win the title without really trying to, is kind of a funny story. I think it does have something where you could build on her. She really wants to stay champion, so she continues her training, or, maybe Maria tells her to give up the title and she won't. Things like that. So I don't know. It has a lot more of a point than it did before. I'll just say it that way. I've hated what the Knockouts have been doing because it was just pointless crap that I didn't care about. But now this is actually an interesting story, and I want to follow it.
Yeah, certainly. I think we kind of know where this is going, though.
Yeah.
I don't think Allie's having that title very long.
I may or may not have hinted as to what's going to happen already.
I just think it's pretty obvious. Like, I don't think you need any kind of to read spoilers. I think it's obvious where this is going.
Right.
As they do have these EC3 and Galloway 7 throughout the night. It ends with Galloway tossing EC3 into a pool. Always the way to get back at your friend. Let's have fun tossing you in a pool.
Once again, these guys are in a heated feud, apparently, and then they're like playing pool tricks, and you got Galloway walking off smiling.
You know what? At least it's not people just let's go in a ring and argue and whatever, like we always see.
I agree, but I think that that I don't know. I just kind of feel it's silly. I just do. I don't want to see the same cold crap like you're talking about myself, but this was a little bit weird.
I personally thought this was kind of dangerous. They've been drinking for an hour and a half, and you just chunk them in the pool? Asshole.
Yeah. Exactly. And what they didn't show you on camera is, EC3 fell down again, and Paul had to save him.
I had to dive in and get him out, man. It was uncool.
And get his clothes dirty and all wet. Just very uncool.
It was a mess. It was a mess.
The things we do for our friends.
Right. And something they've actually tried to make less of a mess, the X Division. But that means you have to go through Eli Drake and his Facts of Life. Dummy. Yeah. To get the X Division talk segment about how they're going to have this big match next week to crown a new X Division champion, and guys are just basically it's a preview of what you could see.
Yeah, not great in my opinion. Not only, I mean, the only fun part here is Spud, and that's because Spud has been just on a rampage. Not only here on Impact, but on Twitter. He's so funny, just because he feels like he's being shortchanged and all this stuff, and that comes across really well. And then DJZ sort of becoming like the fired up lead of the division now, and then you have everybody else sort of just there, and I don't know, like just throwing everybody into a match seems kind of lazy. Like, can we not build these guys some?
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It is very lazy, and yeah, this whole thing was just a little lengthy. I'll say it that way. I get it. They got to highlight the X Division, and I think that's important. But the way they did it was kind of lame in a way. You have Rockstar Spud getting the mic and really cutting down Braxton Miller and. Starts cutting down everybody else in the ring, telling him all what he thinks about them. Even I love the manager who's cut down though, because he says, you're short, you're blonde, and you're British. That'll never get over. That was actually funny. I really enjoyed that. But besides that, it's normal Eli Drake stuff. And at the end of the day, DJZ's the guy they want to look good, and that's kind of what happens here.
Certainly. And the faster we can move on from Eli Drake, the better. As we get to the world title, the winner gets a world title shot match. After Lashley had already told Mike Bennett that I'm going to crush you. So no worries about Mike Bennett. It's going to be between these guys. You have a pretty good match here, as you'd expect, between EC3 and Galloway. EC3 escapes his future shock and gets the jackknife pin for the win. And then here comes Aaron Rex, and he gets attacked by Galloway. And there we go, guys. Aaron Rex already getting involved in the storyline. Drew Galloway is pissed about what happened. And yeah.
Yeah, and of course Aaron Rex is the one that counts the 1, 2, 3 as a special referee, and I guess that was enough to set Galloway off. That hey, was that really 3? And of course he's frustrated that he lost this big match, and he's already got the phone calls from Paul all week about how he's going to lose. I mean, I would be upset too. Galloway was a frustrated man, and he did what he felt like he had to do, I guess, and I guess this is a situation where he's heel now. Or still in that gray area, I don't know. But at the end of the day, pretty good match here. It was a lot of fun. I love both these guys, and so it was a great main event. But now we know what's going to be happening Bound for Glory, right? Aaron Rex and Galloway.
Yeah, this is a really good match. EC3, I think, works really well in this. I mean, these guys, I think they have good chemistry together. And Galloway, after he takes the pinfall, he sort of feels slighted by Aaron, who he thinks is continually in on that conspiracy, maybe to hold him down or continue to do wrong by him, and so he attacks him. So, I mean, as you said, Gary, that's pretty obvious where they're going. It's going to be Aaron Rex and Drew Galloway at Bound for Glory for whatever. And, I think this is really good. EC3 and Lashley, we know that's going to be a great match, and I think Aaron Rex and Drew Galloway are going to do really well, too.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So, yeah,
TNA.
It is TNA, and of course, we got one more thing we're going to do on the show, guys. We are going to talk some Triplemania. That's right, it's coming up, and so we are going to break down this card, kind of give you our ideas on who's going to win. So let's do this thing, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I just have a AAA music running around.
Well,
here,
and I will not be, derogatory and make things with my mouth. So let's go ahead and just do this.
Let's
break down the card.
Any Speedy Gonzalez references or anything?
I didn't say that, guys. That was Sean. He's Latino. He can get away with it. I cannot.
Damn right. No, I'm joking. So, yes, we get the Triplemania on Sunday. Their WrestleMania, basically, I remember last year we reviewed it, and it was the worst show of the year because half of it was because of production problems. But they will air on iPay-per-view again, It's going to be in the Arena Ciudad de Mexico, Mexico City. For $23, you can buy it on TripleManiaPayPerView.com. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can get it in English, Spanish, and Japanese even. There's some big matches, obviously, here. I don't know especially what if this is so this is in order. You have a Psycho Clown against Pagano, best of 2 out of 3 falls. Lucha de Apuestas, which means mask versus mask or mask versus hair, or this one is mask versus hair. What do you think, Paul?
Literally a fight of bets. If I'm doing literal translation here, something like that.
Yes.
Anyways, the build around Pagano sort of had Psycho Clown's number. He's beaten him, I think, like 3 or 4 times, and the last time he took his mask and challenged him to this match. So, Psycho Clown. I don't know if they're ready to move on from that gimmick yet or not. So I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah, I'm terrified of clowns, and so I'll have to go with the Psycho Clown because I don't want him to come after me.
I'm gonna go with Psycho Clown too. So we got the Apache women, Fabi Apache and Mari Apache, against Averno and Chessman. These guys are old as. And you get intergender tag team action here.
Yeah, so Averno and Chessman, Los Hell Brothers, they've been around for a long, long time. I still love Chessman, though. He's awesome. They won the tag titles last year, I think, and said that there was no man that could beat them, so naturally you have women step up in the Apache sisters, and they're both really great. But Verno and Chessman have made fun of them constantly, made very sexist comments against them, and they ended up losing the tag titles at some point, but they finally agreed to have this match at Triplemania, so I'm going to go with the Apache women here. This just sounds tailor-made for them to win.
Mexican people making sexist comments.
Ooh.
No surprise.
Shocker.
Oh, once again, I didn't say that, guys. That was them. Yeah, Apache women.
Let's go with the Apaches. Pentagon Jr., your AAA Latin America champion, against Johnny Mundo.
I don't know if there's any story behind this. Not that, at least there wasn't anything I could find, but it's insane at least how much Lucha Underground is coded all over this. I think that just speaks to how well it's done for AAA, at least as far as over here, whether you realize the connection or not. But you got to go with Pentagon Jr. There's nobody hotter as far as who's coming out of Mexico recently than that guy.
You know what? I wish I could pick this match differently because so far we picked them all alike. But I've got to go Pentagon Jr. I love Pentagon Jr. I mean, he is the wind beneath my wings. So.
Yeah, it's true. Gary can't go against that. I got to go with the champ here. I think he retains. So you have La Parca, El Elegido, El Zorro, Daga, Taurus, El Hijo del Pirata Morgan, the son of the Captain Morgan pirate, not joking. Pimpinela, Escarlata, you've seen on the Lucha Underground. Mamba, Superfly, Hernandez, which is Hernandez, the guy that was in TNA for a cup of coffee and on a second turn, and then couldn't go back to Lucha Underground either because, he screwed them over. Australian Suicide, Y Luchador de Sorpresa, which is like a surprise luchador. In a 12-man elimination match for the 2016 Copa Triplemania. And, of course, I should remind you that the La Parca here is not the real La Parca. So, yeah, guys.
I pick him if I've ever seen him because I have no idea who AAA's intent on pushing right now. So I'll take the fun pick and go Pimpinela Escarlata.
Shoot. You know what? I'll go with Hernandez. You want to go with Captain Morgan?
Oh, I shouldn't I? No, I'll go against the guy, even though he's not the same guy. A guy I hated so much, La Parca.
All right. Fine. You go against that fake La Parca.
I'll go, La Parca, just because. Why not?
So you get Los Guerreros del Cielo, the Warriors of the Sky, in Angelico and Jack Evans. They are the champions, taking on Paul London and Matt Cross, of course, son of Havoc, and Drago and Aerostar against, and also the Los Fantasmas del Fuego, which is El Hijo del Fantasma, which is King Cuerno, and Phoenix, in a 4-way match for the AAA World Tag Team Championships. Everybody here except Paul London is a regular character on Lucha Underground in some form. Amazing.
I wouldn't really be shocked to see Paul London show up on there at some time either. So AAA books their tag division the same way New Japan books their junior tag titles. Let's just throw flippy guys in a match. And it's hard to argue with the results when you got talent like this in there.
Exactly.
I have absolutely no idea who to pick here, so I'm going to go with the champs to retain.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that makes the most sense at the moment.
I'll go with Drago and Aerostar. Why not? So you get a 6-man tag here. Rey Mysterio Jr. making his appearance again for AAA after they had their falling out. So it's the same 6-man team that you saw in the Copa Lucha Libre World Cup, or that you saw in Lucha Underground plenty in Season 2. Rey Mysterio, Prince Puma, and Dragon Azteca against Marty the Moth Martinez, Matanza, and Mil Muertes. Matanza and Mil Muertes together on the same AAA. Just, don't worry about kayfabe or anything.
Forget what Lucha Underground is doing. We have the Lucha Dream Team against 2 guys who pretty much run on death, and Marty the Moth, who's just insane. So, when in doubt, go with Matanza. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You go with Matanza?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just be different. Why not? Team Mysterio.
Yeah, you may not want him to lose here.
Well.
And then you get your AAA Mega Championship match. Tejano Jr., the champion, of course. Brian Cage, of course, Cage from Lucha Underground. And Dr. Wagner Jr. Freaking 50-something years old, and he's still going for that AAA Mega Championship. That dude is on something. There's no way he looks that good at 50. But, he's rivaling Cage at this point for, best body. I mean, it's crazy. But, Tejano Jr.'s had it for... he lost it to El Patron, and then he basically got it back. Mm-hmm. Cage is doing that wonderful thing with the Trump gimmick. Would they give it to freaking Dr. Wagner Jr.? Jeez.
El Macias has been in the title picture, too, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a run-in from him.
I'll say Tejano retains.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
I'm going to be the different one here. I'm going to say Cage.
That would be awesome. But that's your Triplemania. Lots of Lucha Underground influence. So if you enjoy some Lucha Underground, there will be plenty to watch here. And then $23 isn't too bad for a 3-hour show. And you'll get all the pomp and circumstance that they do over there and stuff. So it'll be a cool thing to watch. I don't know. I've bought the last 2 AAA things. I wasn't burned so much by the World Cup, but I got burned by that Triplemania. I don't know if I want to spend that again. But maybe we'll think about it. You'll find out if we are reviewing it on Monday or not.
Yeah, definitely. We'll let you know, and we'll keep you up to date on that. And of course, if you do get a chance to watch it, we want to let us know how you felt about what you thought about it. Once again, you can go to the Wrestling to the Max group, and that's on Facebook. Go on there, and of course, add yourself if you're not added, and of course, give us your thoughts. Let us know what you thought about Triplemania. Heck, you can even tweet at us. I'm at W2M Gary. He's at W2M Sean. And, of course, Paul is at Hell to the Chimp 7. So you just tweet at us. Let us know what you thought, how your feelings were, and we would love to hear from you guys.
Next, I should note that Art Barr is going to be the AAA Hall of Fame inductee.
The love machine himself.
Yes, the man that Eddie Guerrero got the frog splash from.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's really cool. Okay, guys. Well, we are going to move on here, and we got to do one last thing, and that is crown a superstar of the week. So we will be right back with that next.
Superstar of the week.
All right, guys. Well, here we are. We are about to crown a superstar of the week, and boy, was this a difficult week to choose people because we had so many different promotions doing big shows. Some title changes took place. But to do this, we're going to start off with our 1 point going to Finn Balor, Paul.
Yeah, first guy to win the WWE Universal title. A pretty fun match with Seth. The only reason he's so low, guys, is because of the injury, and he never really got a chance to run with it on Raw or anything like that. So, unfortunate, but at least Finn gets the point.
Definitely. Of course, with number 2, we get a second choice here with being Shinsuke Nakamura after his NXT bout against Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Nakamura wins, and they had a terrific match. I enjoyed that match, and not everybody else did, but I really enjoyed it for being different than what else they had on that card, and Nakamura winning and NXT going with the hot hand instead of waiting around like they tend to do sometimes.
That's right. And with 3 points, we got Kushida because he won the Super J Cup.
He did indeed, which we haven't had a chance to cover yet because we've been insanely busy with everything else going on in our lives. But he wrestled 3 matches. 2 of them, I saw Larry get 4 stars, and I hear that final was dynamite too.
With 4 points, we got the Revival.
The Revival, they also had themselves a terrific match, the best match at NXT TakeOver. Against Gargano and Ciampa, and they come out winners. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Now, possibly the best tag team in the world. And also, DDT's Peter Pan show is also on Sunday. So,
damn.
2 big shows happening on Sunday.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Well, and of course, that leaves us with our 5-point winner, and of course, the superstar of the week. Drum roll. Adam Cole. He wins Superstar of the Week.
They had an incredible main event at Death Before Dishonor. Absolutely match of the year worthy. I thought it was a little better than what Larry gave it. I gave it 4 3/4. If you're into snowflake ratings, they just went out there, absolutely killed it. Great storytelling, great spots. There's no better way to send that show home than what these guys did, and Adam Cole's first appearance on our list, which is absolutely criminal.
Wow, that is amazing. But, of course, joining the Bullet Club and doing a few other things, he hasn't had a lot of big matches so far. It's kind of been on the background a little bit. So this may be the first of many times that Adam Cole will be on our list and for the remainder of the year. So this is great. Congratulations to Adam Cole. This is really cool. And of course, Jay Lethal held that title for so long. This is why it's so important for him, of course, to win the that 5 points and a Superstar of the Week. Well, guys, that's our show. We've had a lot of great stuff to talk about. We had a lot of fun. I know I did. But, we want you guys to know if you want to hear more great stuff from us, you can always go find us at the W2M Network. That's right. That's where we have all our shows stashed. You'll get them brand new if you go subscribe. So when you want them, just go up there, subscribe if you haven't before. And, of course, on your docket, every time we have a show, it'll be live for you right there, right after we finish with the show. Just to let everybody know, we do have big shows during the week. If you've never heard us before, we have a Monday show, which is live after Raw. We cover Raw. We do a Raw review. And then, of course, we do our Part 1 episode of the week. And, of course, that's available Tuesday mornings on the download for you guys. And then, of course, again, on Thursday nights live on Spreaker.com, we do Part 2 of this show. And, of course, you also don't want to miss on Tuesday nights SmackDown review show. So every time those shows come out, you will get them on your docket the next day and be in there in the morning for your morning drive. And, of course, your lunch break as well. Those SmackDown reviews and those Raw reviews are great because they're quick shows. They get you a lot of information in a short amount of time. And, heck, I mean, it's a lunch break. That's what's perfect about those shows. And, of course, these shows are really, maybe for your drive to and from work, or maybe when you're jogging, working out. That's what I love about these shows being broken up. You get plenty of stuff in a decent amount of time. And of course, the W2M Network has other shows besides ours. Sean, why don't you tell them about some of the things coming up this week?
Well, as long as nothing crazy happens, we are supposed to do the video games podcast that we haven't done in like almost a week and a half now. Tomorrow when I get off work. We'll also be doing some a Let's Play video of Randy, Daniel, Mark, and myself playing the Titanfall 2 beta. That they had a two-part multiplayer beta test over last weekend and this weekend. So hopefully on Sunday you can go watch us on Twitch or watch us on the PS4 and playing that Titanfall 2. Of course, we're doing the last division that we haven't done yet, NFC East. Of course, that's where our Cowboys reside after they lost today to the Seahawks. Dak Prescott keeps looking good. But we'll talk about the Cowboys and, of course, the rest of the teams in that NFC East. And, of course, we're doing the SEC on the Monday, the last college conference we have not done yet. And then we'll be already talking about the season, guys. Can't believe it already.
Wow.
We have a new they previewed the Arena Football Super Bowl, the Arena Bowl on that AFL podcast. You can go listen to that. Been a sort of a light week for everybody here because Randall kind of reviewed TakeOver. I still need to put that up there because that's always effervescent and people can listen to that. And then everybody else kind of did not get to record something yet this week, so a little light on what's going on with the network. But and there is I think there's a basketball podcast again with Adam Joseph talking to somebody that covers the Trailblazers. So if you're a Portland Trailblazers fan, he talks to like a different basketball guy every week, kind of like what we did with the NFL divisions. He's kind of doing that with the basketball teams, so it's actually kind of interesting. And of course, he's also covering soccer every week of the EPL. They review it, so I'm sure when this weekend gets done, they'll cover it again. So, yeah.
Yeah, lots of great stuff. And of course, if you're a part of our fantasy football leagues, just to let you know once again, we will be drafting Monday during Raw. So that'll be a lot of fun. Paul, of course, he'll be picking his Denver Bronco guys out as he drafts while he's bowling. So we'll see.
Let my entire draft plan go, Gary.
Oh, I've ruined it. Oh, sorry. So you got to be careful about being a homer. I understand. Trust me, it's hard for me. But anyway, guys, well, thanks a lot once again for checking out the show. We appreciate everybody who does. And of course, we'll get a lot of great content coming out to you next week. But until then, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all,
you know it.
Peace.
Later.